So now let's do another one. We're going to use the same bool for this one. And we're going to, so let me write it down again. Bool A, the EPD is equal to 1.5, and accuracy equal to 0.2, and a possible change value equal to 2.2. Draw out our normal distribution. 1.5, negative 0.7, and 3.7. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're looking at the probability that this bool's transmitting ability is between 1 and 4. So now what we're looking at is on this side is on the left side of the mean, which means that when we find this probability of 1, when we find that z-score and we look it up, it will be negative. So we're just going to look up the positive version, and that's going to tell us the probability, that's going to tell us the probability under the curve to the left of the mean. However, that's not what we want. So what we're going to do is subtract that probability from 1, and that will give us this side of the mean. And another way to double check is once you subtract that probability, it's going to be greater than 50% because you have the whole 50% plus this little extra. So you have half the curve plus that little bit. So you want that probability to be greater than 50%, which is just another way to double check yourself. So now we're going to do between 1 and 4. So another way to write this is the probability between 1 minus 1.5 divided by 2.2 less than or equal to the z value, which is less than or equal to 4 minus 1.5 divided by 2.2. So when we do that math, that's going to be the probability z-scores between negative 0.23 and 1.14. So when we look at the z-score of negative 0.23, remember we're looking at the positive version of it. So we come back to 0.2, which is right here, and 3, we get 40/90. So the p-value z of negative 0.23 being less than or equal to the z is equal to 0.4090. So now we need our p-value. Our z is greater than 1.14, and that's going to be equal to 0.1271, which we've already found before, but just to show y'all again, 1.1 and then 0.004, 1271. So now, remember, this tells us everything under the curve over here to the left, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 minus 0.4090, and that is going to give us sorry guys, 1 minus 0.4090 0.5191 And then we're going to take that, because that's going to give us, remember, that's going to give us this entire probability all the way to infinity. And this is going to, 4 is going to give us everything from 4 to infinity, but we want it to be in between. So we're going to subtract that number from the smaller probability, just 0.1271, and that is equal to 0.4639, or 46.39%. So I hope this makes sense to y'all. Always remember that when we look at the z-table, it tells us the probability away from the mean. And even when we have negative values, we just look at the positive value on the z-table. So that's it for these kind of examples. I hope everybody understands. There is another thing we're going to go over really quick.